planning, outdoors versus indoors. Any event can be held indoors or out, although some certainly lend themselves better to outside venues than others. In this video module, we're going to first take a look at some of the critical event elements you, the event planner, need to analyze when deciding whether to hold an event at an indoor venue, outdoor venue, or one that offers elements of each. First, let's look at 7 considerations that, in and of themselves, may dictate whether you choose an indoor or outdoor location. First, preparation. How much work will be involved in getting the site set up for the event? For example, if an event is held outside, you have to plan for inclement weather, which may include drastic temperature changes, precipitation of all kinds, and high winds. Some destinations may even threaten hurricanes and tornadoes at certain times of year. Ask yourself what preparations need to be made in order to ensure that your guests or attendees are comfortable and will have a fulfilling experience. Will it take less time to set the event up in the ballroom of a hotel or convention center or in an event tent? Is the amount of time and effort that goes into the preparation warranted? The best way to determine whether the planning and preparation for an outdoor event versus an indoor event is worth it is to make a list of pros and cons and weigh them. Let's say your client prefers an outdoor venue, but you have concerns about the feasibility of that environment. Make a list of everything you will need, from furniture to electricity and sanitary facilities to food and beverage service. Then estimate how much time it will take, hence money will be required, to prepare the outdoor venue versus the indoor option. Share your findings with the client to help him or her make the right decision. Second, limitations. During the venue preparation exercise, also make notes of any limitations you anticipate with the client's preferred venue style. For example, if the event is formal, will the guests wearing high heels be pulling them out of the turf at every step or dancing the night away on a marble floor? Conversely, do the attendees at a team building intensive have a more authentic and impactful session climbing an indoor wall or practicing their teamwork climbing tall pines or moderate cliffs in the great outdoors? If the event is an exhibition, can you supply ample power to the preferred outdoor venue, and what effect will inclement weather have on the attendee base? If utilizing a remote outdoor venue, is the event long enough in duration to warrant distance travel for the participants? The potential limitations of a preferred locale should be addressed in the first planning meeting with the client and factored into destination and venue decision. Security. Third, most outdoor venues are more difficult to secure than indoor venues. Talk to your client about the volume and type of items that need to be protected from theft or other types of loss or damage. If you are planning a trade show, a gem and mineral show for example, how will you make sure no one can access the booths after hours and steal product? How do you keep unethical showgoers from shoplifting from vendors? What are the costs of having valuables exhibited in rooms that can be locked versus providing 24-hour security for tenant exhibits? Evaluate outdoor versus indoor security requirements based on ease of securing the facility and costs associated with doing so. Keep in mind that your risk management plan needs to address insurance related to these security issues, loss and damage as well. Fourth, safety. The safety issues you need to consider when weighing outdoor venues versus indoor venues include, but are not limited to, fire dangers, risk of injury or death, exposure to allergens or toxins, and even food safety. The latter, for example, can be influenced by humidity and temperature. So you should ask yourself if your food service has less risk of contamination in a climate-controlled environment, or if that's just not an applicable concern. If your outdoor event is located remotely, and there are no nearby fire departments or hydrants, are you risking possible fire risk dangers because of the type of event and location? Is an outdoor venue hosting an event during a known allergy season, or are you concerned about venomous insects or reptiles at a particular time of year? The health, well-being, and safety of your attendees is your responsibility, so research possible safety risks diligently and make indoor versus outdoor decisions accordingly. Fifth, cost. As we've discussed frequently throughout these video modules, expense is usually a key driving factor in venue choice. One of the key considerations in outdoor versus indoor is whether one option differs dramatically in cost from the other while still offering similar experience value. In some cases there is little or no difference, but you should anticipate the possibility of additional costs at an outside venue for shelter, climate control, power, supplier delivery fees, sanitation, accommodation, etc. Your risk management plan elements and insurance might also be greater at an outside venue. When working with your client to make determinations about venue type based on return on investment or ROI, remind them that the ambiance of an outdoor event can be duplicated with good success at an indoor event if the additional expense of an outdoor event makes it cost prohibitive. Sixth, culture. The purpose, mood, emotion, and demographic of the attendee base also have big impact on the decisions of outdoors versus in. If the event is a 50-year class reunion, for example, you should anticipate that some of the guests may have some physical challenges that preclude them from being comfortable on uneven ground. For them, an indoor event might be more comfortable. If the event is a symposium for power brokers, will it be a business dress or casual style, and which type of venue will best suit its culture? Seventh, sound and visuals. When planning an event, you must consider how its audio and visual elements will work. Display screens are hard, if not impossible, to see in some outdoor light conditions, and sound evaporates easily into open air. Background sound, birds chirping, horses neighing, highway traffic also influence how well attendees can hear the audio goings-on at an event. These variables should weigh heavily in your venue decision. 8. Other environmental considerations. Last but not least, take a close look at two facets of environmental planning. The first, can you green the venue? And the second, are there environmental conditions that make it unsuitable, blowing dust for example? Both of these environmental considerations figure equally into your choice of outdoors versus indoors for any type of event. Now let's look at some event groupings with an eye to type-specific considerations you'll need to analyze when choosing an indoor or outdoor venue. Bear in mind that any type of event can be held indoors or out, and these observations simply serve as some guidelines for leaning one direction or the other. Anniversaries, ceremonies, cocktail receptions, galas, showers, reunions, and weddings. These events are by and large social in nature and lend themselves well to the location and theming whims of the client. Important considerations for these events include ease and expense of creating the setting and bringing in all necessary services, catering, entertainment, lights, and climate control. Also pay close attention to risk management as it relates to children, elderly guests, and serving alcohol. Ask yourself if the guests will be challenged by an outdoor event. If elderly, will children be able to get themselves lost in the woods, or are there water hazards nearby? And might people be endangered in any way by the combination of drinking alcoholic beverages and navigating natural terrain? Art exhibits, conventions, expositions, and trade consumer shows and road shows. Although some trade shows, boat and outdoor shows for example, typically require some outdoor space in their venue, most of these events are better suited to the indoors because of security issues. All contain many items of value that need to be protected from the weather and secured to prevent theft or vandalism. Outdoor venues are usually more difficult and expensive to secure than indoor. Auctions, book signings, fundraisers, political rallies. Other than weather and audio considerations, there are really no compelling reasons to choose outdoor over indoor for either of these. Yes, auction items may need protection from inclement weather, and it's a good idea not to sunburn authors and potential presidents, but with a bit of planning and some basic shelter, these events will work equally as well indoors or out without significant price differential. Board meetings, general meetings, sales meetings, shareholder meetings. Much of what goes on in business meetings is proprietary. It is easier to lend meetings the requisite privacy in an indoor setting. So unless the sessions are inherently casual or outdoor oriented, your meeting planning clients will likely be happiest with indoor venues. Classes and seminars, clinics, forums, lectures, symposiums, trainings, and workshops. These events may pose significant audio-video challenges in outdoor environments. They are all geared towards imparting important information to an audience and making sure the audience can hear and see that information as it is presented. If you use outdoor venues for these educational and informational events, make sure the background noise doesn't interfere, that sunshine and cloud shadows don't disrupt video panel quality, and that the sound systems used are adequate for overcoming any interference by nature. As attendees will be sitting in a classroom-style arrangement for the duration of most of these events, provide enclosures and climate control if they are held outside. Concerts, community programs, fairs and festivals, fashion shows, sporting events. These types of events are great outdoors and in, depending on the types of event amenities they need. Obviously, sporting events require certain sport-specific attributes like tracks, courts, and fields, and fashion shows need enclosures for dressing rooms and hair and makeup, while concerts may require VIP trailers for stars. Nevertheless, with proper planning, attendees will enjoy all of these events, indoors or out. Intensives, historic reenactments, and retreats. By nature, these are frequently outdoor events for the most part. Make sure that attendees have a way to get out of the sun, rain, cold, or heat, and ample sanitation facilities are available. Also keep in mind that there may be equipment or other valuables that need to be secured when not in use, so provide for safe storage. These events are likely to have VIPs in attendance, so always consider hosting a special VIP reception area for them. Teleconferences, web conferences, and webcasts. These events should almost always be inside because of the audio-visual challenges posed by the outdoors, as well as weather and power issues. If you provide an enclosure, proper sound and lighting, and security for AV equipment, you can host successful digital presentations in an outdoor environment. When weighing the outdoor versus indoor venue options with your client, always be positive but frank about the pros and cons of each. In this way, you will ensure that your client makes a well-informed choice that won't disappoint him, her, or the attendees, and you will have, once again, planned an excellent event.